Hello, everybody. It's Lori. I want you to know that I have a new shirt on today. It's not new, but it's clean and it's different than the last two Facebook Lives. So, I hope you're having a good day. The sun is coming out in foggy Palos Verdes, which is where I'm broadcasting from. Um, I have something fun to share with you today, and I'm still looking all over. I never know where to look on this thing. Anyway, I want to talk about colons, not the one that's inside my body, but the actual punctuation mark of colons. I have been wanting to use colons for a long time in my own writing, but they scare me. I don't really know all the rules for colons very well. After this week, I do. Now, mind you, I'm an ex-teacher, ex-full-time teacher. I taught colons to students. I helped them edit them. And every single time I did that, I went to my go-to resources and I Googled things. But for me personally, I often just avoided them. I decided, it is too much hassle and it made me kind of scary. And Lorraine, I see, okay, one of my friends, what would happen if I rang your doorbell right now? I would ignore you. Anyway, it's good to see you, Lorraine. Um, so, so anyway, colons scare me, but darn it, I am not going to be scared of colons anymore, and I'm going to start using them in my writing. And as a matter of fact, I wrote a whole post about that on my website yesterday. It's up there on my blog at lorit.com. But I want to tell you why I actually had the confidence to do that. And that's going to help you learn how to do something that scares you in your own writing life. Okay. So this, for me, it's colons. For you, it may be something else. And I'm just going to go through some steps. Now, I'm about to jump off a cliff right now because I am going to attempt to share my screen to show you something. So let's see. Can anyone even see that? This is what I'm scared about because I don't know. Darn it. Okay. Share. And if I go here, okay, I'm just going to go with the fact that you can see this. And hopefully, if you can't, you can just go off and go to the rest of your day. So anyway, if you can see this, it was saying it was sharing it. So hopefully it is. How to start doing something that gives you the writing willies. So last week, I posted about searching for golden lines in writing. And that's what got me on the path to having confidence to use colons, because I wrote a post about searching for golden lines. And then I did a Facebook Live about finding golden lines. And I happened to pick some golden lines that had colons in them. And so what that did is it kind of imprinted on my brain this idea of my brain, if colons appeared in something else I was writing, I would notice it more. It's like when you start looking for a new car to buy and you've decided, okay, I want this red Porsche, and all of a sudden you see Porsches all over. That's kind of what's happening. So just search for golden lines. Then seek out reading that gives you examples of an expert using that thing, whatever it is for you, in their own writing. So what happened to me last weekend is I'm sitting at the table having a cup of coffee with my husband on Saturday morning, and I went to Jason Gay's column in the Wall Street Journal. Now, I read his column all the time, and I love it. He's really funny, and he often writes about sports, but he's branched out to other things. But all of a sudden, I'm reading his column, and I'm noticing he's using colons all over the place. I had never noticed that before. I've saved a bunch of his columns so I could go do some research and see if he's done that before. But because colons were kind of imprinted on my brain, I noticed it. So first I read that piece just for enjoyment. Like, this is what I want to do with my cup of coffee on Saturday morning. And then I was like, dang, he's using colons. If he's going to do them, I'm going to find more golden lines so I can mimic them in my own writing. So I wasn't intentionally sitting down on Saturday morning saying, I want to learn about colons. No. I just noticed it because it was imprinted on my brain. Then I thought, oh, I got to write about this. I got to write about this in my next blog post for next week, which I did yesterday. Then I realized, well, dang it. I got to know how to use colons right. I got to bite the bullet and figure this out. So I was motivated to learn how to do that thing correctly. And I went and got my favorite guidebooks and I figured it out. And in my post, which you can read on lauriet.com, in my post, I wrote some sentences with colons, which was very scary because I'm so worried it was wrong. I think they're right. Now, here is the thing that I want to talk to you about. And I'm going to try to go back to a screen with me. Okay, am I back? Did you see that other thing? All right. So what I want to say, oh, dang it, Lorraine, cannot see it. Thank you for telling me that. Shoot, were you just seeing me the whole time? Okay. Anyway, dang it. All right. Now, what I noticed in the examples I gave last week of Anthony Doerr's golden lines from All the Light We Cannot See that use colons and Jason Gay's examples, they were breaking the rules all over the place. They weren't doing it right. But I think personally, the reason I noticed their lines was actually because they broke some rules. It got my attention. And they totally broke rules in the context of everything else in their pieces were following the rules and showing control and competence. So my advice to you is when you're going to take a risk in something new in writing, don't go down a rule rat hole. There are so many exceptions. Try to do your best. Try to learn the rules. And then when you want to take a risk and use that thing and use the colons, go for it. Do it. But just be consistent in the way you use it. And so people don't question the rest of your writing. And so they still trust you as a writer. Everything surrounding those kind of rule breaking sentences, if you do that, you better get those spot on. Like capitalize all the first letters in sentences. If you use a proper noun, capitalize it. Use some end punctuation, the basics, okay? So that's really what I wanted to tell you. After I read Jason Gay's column, I just thought, okay, I'm pretty sure he's breaking some rules here. I for sure know that Anthony Doerr's sentences with colons were breaking rules, but they were stunning and they were so interesting. And I have read them over and over again. I also know that Jason Gay has the entire editorial staff of the Wall Street Journal behind him. I also know that Anthony Doerr's book was published by Simon & Schuster. There were people, really, really smart people who said, you know what? Those sentences are good. We're not fixing them. So I hope that's helpful. That's just my little advice. Now, if your child happens to have an English teacher who is a zealot about doing things right, then for that pocket of time, I would certainly do things right, depending on your audience. But just know that maybe that zealot English teacher might not be that good a writer. She's a good rule follower, but maybe not a great writer. All right. So you can see all the examples and read my blog posts about this on my website. And I hope you subscribe to my newsletter. I just send it out one time a month, and it's short and sweet and sometimes funny, but mostly sweet. You can subscribe at my website, lauriet.com. But I want to end with a little sweet memory. Do you see this book, Come Along, Kitten? So this was my last read aloud of the summer to my 15-year-old daughter. This is a book that is by Joanne Ryder. Look at that dog. It's so sweet. Lorraine said, good use of the word zealot. I like to throw in the word zealot anytime I can. All right. As in addition to colon and zealot, I think those go really well together. Anyway, Okay, I'm in the middle, Lorraine, of a super sweet, sappy thing, and now I'm talking about colons and zealots. I love it. All right. So anyway, what I started to do, and it was completely unplanned this summer, is we were cleaning out my daughter's bedroom and she was sorting her books, and many of her old picture books were going into the garage in storage. And just on a whim, I started reading aloud to her. We'd snuggle up and I'd read aloud to her these books that I read over and over again to her when she was a little baby. So it was precious. And she did not roll her eyes at me. She absolutely loved it. So this was our last one. And Come Along Kitten was always my favorite one. It was never the one she would want to pick because it's just this sweet, sweet thing. And it's pretty sappy, but it's just adorable. And I saved it for the end, and she was still happy with it. So my comment to you guys is keep reading out loud to your little babies, even when they're driving and big and shaving and rolling their eyes at you. All right. Hope you guys have a great day. I am going to go do all the things on my to-do list, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, Lorraine. Bye, you guys. Okay, can I get this to end? Bye-bye. I got to keep smiling because it doesn't seem to want to end. Ah! Okay. Cancel. Stop sharing. End broadcast.